What's going on, guys, and how's it hanging in the Hoard? My name's Ryujin383, and that's right, we're finally back with another Overwatch 2 Legendary Skin Ranking. As you can tell from clicking on this video, today we're going to be ranking all the Legendary skins for none other than Mercy in Overwatch 2. This video will only cover skins out as of this recording, so if you're watching this in the future, there may be a skin not featured on this list. A disclaimer before we start, this list is based entirely on my personal opinion. If I rank a skin in a way you disagree with, feel free to let me know in the comments below how you would rank these skins yourself. I just make these lists for fun and to celebrate my passion for this game in a unique way. This series is also ultimately put forward by you guys, the viewers both in and out of the Horde, so make sure to leave your suggestions as to who we should rank next in the comments below. The next time we do one of these will be for a DPS hero or a damage hero, and you can see which characters we've already ranked by checking out the full playlist for this series available on my channel page. If no suggestions are made, I end up picking what character gets ranked, and you may not like who I pick, so please leave your suggestions below. With all that said, let's go ahead and fly on into Mercy's legendary skins, starting with our epic skin honorable mention. I'm fairly certain I forgot to add this part in the intro, but there is going to be an announcement at the end of this video pertaining the skin ranking series, so please stay tuned for that. This was also one of the hardest skin rankings I've ever recorded because Mercy has a ton of legendary skins, but also because I know for a fact my opinion is very different on some of these more popular skins that people really like. So please do me a favor and hit that sub button and that like button. We're on our way to 100 subs. Wow, that's crazy. You should subscribe if you haven't. Anyways, let's go on to the video. The honorable mention this time around goes to Mercy's Season 4 Battle Pass exclusive skin, Infinite Seer. This skin was so disappointing to me when I first saw it, but it's probably not for the reason you think. I remember when they were showing off the upcoming skins for Season 4, but when I saw this one, I immediately went, that's a pretty cool Mercy legendary. Then, to my surprise, when the new season dropped and I went to check out the Battle Pass, this skin was only an epic skin. Infinite Seer honestly barely resembles default Mercy, because while the overall outfits are the same in design, there are so many added on elements that make the two seem so different. Infinite Seer has all of these different patterns all over the cloth, like these little diamond ones here on the legs, these like little lightning bolts on the actual fringe for the dress, and just the overall mixture of colors between all these different spaces. The most obvious part, of course, is her head. She has this veil that covers her eyes, as well as this crown with a glowing purple gem up top. This skin could have easily become a legendary if more thought had been put into it, and it's really disappointing that it's only an epic skin, because it had a lot of potential to be so much more. That's personally why I think it deserves to be recognized with an honorable mention, but you're all here for the legendaries, right? So let's go on and get to our appointment already.
Embarrassing!
Going into this ranking, I was very quickly aware of two main points. Number one, that Mercy has 20 different legendary skins, so this would automatically be the longest skin ranking I've ever even attempted for this channel. And point number two, that this video would most certainly be my most controversial ranking yet, because my opinion on these skins is very drastic compared to the opinions I've seen online and heard throughout the years. So please don't hate me, and instead of hitting my face for what I'm about to say, hit that like button. That said, I don't think it's controversial yet to say this skin is terrible. Last place on my ranking goes to, without a doubt, this Overwatch 1 base legendary, Sigrun. After researching for this video, I felt quite relieved that it was pretty much the opposite of the Winston ranking. With Mercy, there aren't a whole lot of skins I dislike, and they all feel unique and individual, whereas the opposite felt true for the Winston one. I don't hate any of Mercy's skins, but some I definitely dislike. For starters, this whole outfit is just very bland. It's almost entirely this dull gray and silver, with the only unique colors really being her orange hair that goes down her shoulder, and these tiny red gems placed all over that you can barely see at all. Another major problem I have with this skin is this shield on her back. It's bright green and the most vibrant part of the skin, yet you are rarely ever going to see this in-game. It also just doesn't fit with the other colors used, but I'll explain more on that later, trust me. There's also just so much stuff blocking it, like her metal wings and this random sword that's been placed on her back. Speaking of this sword here on her back, why would she have one there in the first place when she's already got a sword in its sheath hanging on her hip? It just seems like a weird choice to put a blade there where, again, you are likely never to see it and she already has one. This gun is also just super pitiful. It looks like someone hot glued a piece of driftwood to it. The staff isn't that much better either, given that it has that same dull and boring solid gray pattern going all the way up it, and then it gets to these like super fake painted on wings that don't look that good and are almost invisible until you hit the light with them. Mercy has an absolutely stacked lineup of skins, and she has plenty of them too. Compared to her entire wardrobe, Sigrun is honestly the one you'd hide behind all the other much better fits to choose from. There's not much to look at, and with everything else you can choose from, why choose this one? You know, when you play as much Overwatch as I do, it probably means something is wrong with me. Maybe I have an addiction to the game, and maybe I need some help. But why would I go get checked out for a couple $1,000s? When I could just have Mercy do it for free. 19th place on this ranking goes to the Overwatch 1 exclusive challenge skin, Dr. Ziegler. This skin is somewhat rare, I guess you could say, because as far as I'm aware, the only way you could earn this outfit was by participating in the Mercy's Recall challenge back on the first Overwatch. It was one of those simple skin challenges where all you had to do to gain progress was just play a bunch of matches. Much like that challenge, this skin is incredibly simplistic. I remember grinding out games on Overwatch for it simply because I had missed many of the other exclusive skin challenges. That was really my only reason for grinding out for this skin though. I did not like the skin that much then, and I certainly don't like it as much now either. It's a fairly regular looking doctor's outfit, and that's only true because of the coat she is wearing. If you took off this lab coat here, she would just look like she's in a black sweater and brown pants, and for some reason, armored boots. This gun here has no grand look or design to it whatsoever, and it just is almost entirely silver. It honestly just looks like a regular pistol that I could find at my local Walmart. The staff is also incredibly lacking and still uses that same color, and it just looks like basic bitch Mercy staff with nothing added to it. If we're being honest here, I only truly gave this skin a bump above Sigrun because it's exclusive, and I'm sure not many people have it, but it's also a skin very few people have probably even heard of, and I think you know exactly why.
You're listening to 102.3 where we playeth nothing but chance, and more chance. This are not thine elder matriarch, Stacey.
This skin has so much wasted potential, it could be the runner-up to Overwatch PvE. 18th place goes to the Overwatch 1 remix skin Mage Mercy. For those who don't know, at the end of Overwatch 1's life cycle, the Blizzard design team released 3 events called the Anniversary Remixes, where they would release old game modes back and would also recolor some of the most used legendary skins in the game. This one is obviously a recolor of Witch Mercy, one of the most recognizable Mercy skins out there. Now, personally, I think this skin is bad for one reason in particular, which also happens to be the main reason it exists: the colors. Don't get me wrong, the blue and white with these gold trims is a really good scheme to use, I just think they used them in the wrong way. This skin would have been so much better if it was this blue with white highlights instead of vice versa. The white feels like it's present way more than it should be on this skin, and I swear if I looked at it for too long in game, I would probably go blind. I think blue would fit so much better and would be a way better contrast to the orange so heavily present on Witch Mercy. I think if you left these leggings and shoes the same, but then changed everything else above her legs up here, it would just be so much cleaner. That's just me though, Witch Mercy's better L+ ratio. This is just a reminder that they did surgery on a grape. Don't ever forget it. 17th place is taken by an Overwatch League exclusive skin that I do not own and honestly never will out of choice, Royal Gladiator. I'm going to cut to the chase here and say that I think this skin is way too much purple. It's a recolor of another Overwatch League skin, Royal Knight, specifically made to highlight the LA Gladiators team in the league. I've never been that big of a fan of these league recolors, mostly because they almost never look as good and manage to take away from the better aspects of the original designs for the Overwatch League skins. It's one of those things that just screams at me, Give us more money to sell to LA Gladiators fans, and I don't have a problem with the Gladiators fans, but I do have a problem with bad-looking fits. To be clear, I was a pretty big fan of the league, and I am sad it's finally over, but turning this whole skin purple and then slapping on a lion logo doesn't make that much of a difference to me personally. The normal version of these league skins is almost always better, and in the case of Royal Gladiator, to me, that still rings true.
Dragons have invaded Dave & Buster's.
Whoa, hold on a minute here. I knew Overwatch was looking into doing more crossover skins in the future, but I didn't know they already had one with How to Train Your Dragon. Flying in at 16th place is the counterpart to one of Mercy's Overwatch 1 base legendaries, Valkyrie. For starters, I will say this is a definite improvement to the Sigrun skin. I mean, that's pretty obvious. I gave it a higher rank for a reason. It's just got way more colors and isn't 90% gray, opting to use more of these different shades of brown here on the boots and the legs, going all the way up. Taking a look at the back here, I think Sigrun and Valkyrie actually switched the shields they have, with Valkyrie using this bright red one, whereas Sigrun had the bright green one. I don't really get why they chose to do this when designing these skins. It would have fit so much better to have just put the correct shields on the correct color scheme, but whatever. The weapons haven't improved that much. I mean, this one still looks like someone glued some wood onto it. But I will say this staff is a bit better, and I like that these painted wings are a bit more noticeable with the gold here instead of it being silver and just blending in. While Valkyrie is definitely an improvement upon Sigrun, it ultimately still suffers from many of the same weaknesses. It's still got the confusing number of swords placed all over this outfit, it's got the wrong color for the shield, these barely noticeable blue gems sprinkled throughout it, and the overall blandness of the weapons that we already covered. There are also simply way better skins in Mercy's arsenal, in my opinion, so let's just go ahead and move on to some of those already. Why does this skin look like an American Girl doll or a Barbie? Coming in at 15th place is one of Mercy's Lunar New Year event skins from Overwatch 1, Soulbim. When I first saw this skin, I already knew I wasn't a huge fan of it. Well, actually, I wasn't really any kind of fan of it. Not only do I think Mercy already has a better Lunar New Year skin, but this one just looks very manufactured. It just looks very shiny and like plastic and fake, and I just don't really like that part. But at the same time, it still looks kind of decent. I'm not quite sure why, but Soulbim just really puzzles me. The most apparent part to me is this blue undershirt here. Just the way that the light reflects off of it, it just looks very shiny, like it's something you ripped off a Polly Pocket doll. I also don't know why there's this glowing light effect coming off the wings here. Maybe it's part of some traditional story that I'm not familiar with, but it only makes it look more artificial to me. I will say that my favorite part of this skin has to be this staff. It's incredibly pretty, and I can definitely see why it really divides people on this skin. When I was researching for this video, Soulbim seemed to be one of the more controversial skins, because the general consensus I saw was that people either really love this skin and think it's one of the prettiest Mercy skins ever, or they're the complete opposite and they absolutely hate it and think it's ugly as hell. For me personally, I don't think it's ugly, but I also don't think it's one of her best. It's a fancier outfit I could see someone wearing to a gala or something along those lines, but too much of this skin makes me think of like a doll and not the actual character or the actual culture it's supposed to be representing.
Heroes never die!
Okay, I think this is where my list may start to get a bit controversial, but that's honestly kind of fitting with this one. Sitting at 14th place is another of Mercy's Overwatch 1 base legendary skins, Devil. This skin is certainly another of Mercy's classics, so I'll explain why I think this skin isn't as good. First off, I do really enjoy this design, and I'm sure most of you who have seen previous skin rankings I've made are a bit confused as to why I gave a devilish skin such a low ranking. I promise it's not for the look of the skin, because you know me and my hellish aesthetic, I love it. It's honestly more so the color. I'm not a huge fan of this dark silver metal that's kind of placed all over this skin. It's not really that noticeable, but it's way more noticeable when you take a look at the weapons. This staff is almost identical to Dr. Ziegler's, and the only thing different I can see is that there are these small red patches that have been slapped on. It just feels and looks so empty and such a large contrast to how bright the overall skin is. I feel if they had added more fire and brimstone elements to them, and maybe even the skin itself, rather than the sleek dark metal, it could have been way better. Second off, I just think that the alternate coloration for this skin is way better. We'll get to it eventually on this list, so stay tuned for that, but all I'll say for now is I think most people like the alt color better too, and I certainly see it in-game more often than Devil. And my final point, Devil has just kind of been outclassed by better releases over time. Being one of the base legendary skins, it's incredibly easy for a skin to be considered a hit or a miss, because it's going to be around the entirety of this character's existence. I would say most overwhelmingly end up being a miss, but there are some like Devil that manage to stand out. However, I don't think it stands out enough, and so I'm just going to leave it here on my ranking. I really hope none of you guys out there are afraid of needles, because this outfit is absolutely covered in them. Moving on to 13th place on my ranking is the Archives event skin from Overwatch 1, Combat Medic Ziegler. I believe this skin is truly an improved upon version of the Dr. Ziegler outfit. For those that don't know, Combat Medic actually came out long before Dr. Ziegler did, but I still believe it does a better job at its goal than Doctor does. It's very fitting for Mercy's character, which makes sense as it is a lore-based skin from her days as an Overwatch medic. I'm also a big fan of this dark blue color scheme, and it's really nice in-game when you ult because the wings also turn blue. My favorite part on this skin, once again, has to be the staff here. It has this giant needle on the top here that has eel juice inside, I guess. Maybe lemonade? I don't know, I just really hope it's not piss. The gun's okay too, I guess. It's got another little needle here, but it's still fairly basic. Overall, I enjoy this skin for its color choice, the lore that it brings to the table, and that it does a better job portraying a medic in a shooter game than some of her other fits. But I think it too gets outclassed by many of Mercy's other skins. I don't have a whole lot to say about Combat Medic, but there are some more skins I have plenty to talk about.
Hold on! This is my favorite. Hold on! Her sister was a witch, right? And what was her sister? A princess!
This is truly the first of the shocking reveals on this list, aside from maybe Devil, but I don't think that one's as big a deal as what I'm about to say. For this one, I might honestly get taken out by the Mercy lovers, so if I don't make it, just know it's been an honor uploading videos for you all. Anyway, here goes. I am not that big a fan of Witch Mercy. 12th place is, of course, the Witch skin from the original Halloween Terror event on Overwatch 1. It is 100% a classic, and I'm not denying that at all, to be clear. But with all the skins she's gotten over the years, I believe Witch is kinda, sorta, somewhat overhyped. It's definitely a pretty and a neat skin, but with so many skins in her wardrobe that can also fit that same description, it made making this ranking in particular extremely hard. Writing this script and analyzing all of her different designs, it's made me quite certain people will disagree a lot with me on this list in particular, and knowing how much Mercy fans love her skins, it was definitely a bit intimidating. This is definitely one of Mercy's most recognizable outfits, and people really seem to love it, but if I can be real, I never really have. I don't particularly like all this brown on the skin. It makes sense, because it's like a fall color scheme. I just don't like that there isn't a whole lot of other colors here, you know? Like, there's this really faded orange that kind of makes it stand out, but I think it would stand out even more if the orange was more visible. The most fun part about this outfit is definitely the staff. I think changing it to a witch's broom was a really neat idea, and it's also even got these little symbols on the thingies that come off here. I don't know what exactly the symbols are for, but they're cool. Apart from all that, though, I don't have much else to say, and I'm also a bit afraid that if I say more, the Mercy mains who already have red dots aimed at my chest won't hesitate to fire, So let's just go ahead and move on before I dig myself a bigger hole. Now, this may sound kind of corny, but this skin is actually pretty fun. Sliding on into 11th place is the other Lunar New Year event skin from Overwatch 1, Juque. Not gonna lie, this is a pretty solid Mercy skin. Giving her a phoenix design was really such a great call, and very fitting for the flying support character. I love all the little feathers that are placed all over this skin, like on the cuffs to her pants and the little shoulder pads here. The headpiece she wears is so intricate and so unique. I love this thing. I think another one of my favorite parts is this glowing phoenix symbol on the bottom of the dress, but I wish it was placed a bit higher so it would be easier to see. Like, maybe if they moved it up here towards her waist, or maybe even, like, put it here on her chest, it maybe would look a bit better. This giant peacock phoenix feather thing going down her back is also just incredibly cool. Speaking of the back of this skin, though, I think giving her wings this, like, fiery decal was also a very nice touch. This staff is also a bit neat, I will say. I like that there are more feathers on it as well, and that it kind of comes to a point with this, like, spearhead. Unfortunately, while I do like this skin, there are 10 other ones that I'm a bigger fan of than Juque, and with so many bangers on Mercy's list, it meant making some tough calls and giving some designs a lower seed, even if they are pretty cool.
Mercy May, Mercy May, Mercy May, Mercy May, Mercy May, Mercy May, Mercy May. I one trick with no shame. I play Mercy cause I can't aim, ooh.
I couldn't think of anything funny to say for a good segue here, so this is just what I'm gonna use for the intro for this clip. The skin starting our top 10 on my ranking is the Overwatch League exclusive Royal Knight. I really prefer this one over Royal Gladiator, and it's mostly due to the more noticeable color choices. I like that it combines the two different colors here, white and red, to give it a more medieval feel. It resembles the banner or coat of arms of a kingdom from long ago, and I think that's way cooler than just solid purple or solid black. This design overall is also really unique, and I like that the silver is really well balanced with all these red cloths, so that the armor doesn't feel like it's too much or too little. Another one of my favorite details is this red plume on top of her head that's a lot darker than the rest of the red on this skin. It's more maroon and stands out more than the brighter red elements. I also really enjoy these wings here with the metallic feathers and the small coat of arms on them as well. It just looks really neat, and it's like a sword, kind of. There's even another coat of arms on her back that has a unique symbol on it, but I wish it was somewhere more noticeable than just hiding on her back. I'm also a big fan of this new hairstyle that they gave her, even if the helmet covers almost all of it. The gun is alright as well, resembling the metal feathers and the coat of arms that were placed on the wings, but the staff is where things get really crazy. This giant medieval lance is awesome. I'm just imagining flying up and hitting somebody with it. It's so funny in my head. This is the kind of outfit you'd wear after you pop ult and start flying in as Battle Mercy to demolish the other team. It feels like what the Viking skins were trying to go for, but here it's just executed a whole lot better.
What the hell? Oh my god, no way.
Mercy really just said that she can be your angel or your devil. 9th place is taken by the last of Mercy's base legendary skins from Overwatch 1, Imp. I already mentioned when I talked about Devil that I thought this skin had a better look to it, so I'll go ahead and explain why really quickly. I think that this glowing purple just works a lot better than the fiery scheme did on Devil. It's a personal preference, to be honest. I also enjoy how this metal is incorporated better on Imp than on Devil. The use of the darker black to contrast with this white suit, it just fits better. The staff is also a lot better on Imp too, with the choice to use the white instead of the duller metal as the base. However, it's still a fairly simplistic look, so it's not the greatest, and I wish maybe that the white was more present on this part of the staff in the middle. As mentioned earlier, I do see Imp used more than Devil in-game, which leads me to believe more players like myself prefer it. Imp is personally my favorite of Mercy's default skins, but since I only gave it 9th on this ranking, of course there are a lot better skins to choose from. It fits me better, and I'm sure it fits some of you better too.
Long before time had a name, the first Spinjitzu master created Ninjago.
I don't know anything about the background for this skin, but it's so good that it doesn't matter at all to me. Coming in at 8th place on my ranking is the Overwatch 2 Season 1 Battle Pass exclusive, Miko. Like I just said, I don't quite know what the inspiration for this skin was. It was kind of weird that Season 1 was supposed to be a cyberpunk season, and yet the only cyberpunk skin in the Battle Pass was Genji's Mythic, but whatever, this skin is still great. I love the bright red all over this dress here with the thin fibers of like rainbow patterns hidden throughout. The dress is just incredible, and I also really like these red puffballs. The wings here are smooth, sleek, and very clean. Like a metal raven or something, and that's just awesome. The headpiece with the golden bird is a nice touch, and her hair looks so different, but it's so amazing. The gun looks sick with more of these dark feathers, and I also like that they used the gold that was only really present on her headpiece. The staff is even better because while it also uses the gold, it has this ring of bells on the end here that are also really neat. They actually jingle a bit in-game, and they have jiggle physics too, so it just makes it even more fun when you pull out her staff. I just really enjoy everything about this skin, and it's just so neat and awesome. Miko is by far my favorite Lunar New Year Mercy skin, even though it isn't really a Lunar New Year skin. It's just that good that if you told me it was, I would believe you wholeheartedly. It's about time someone finally said it. This skin is hated for no damn reason. Going into 7th place on my ranking, we have Mercy's Overwatch 1 Anniversary skin, Dragoon. I think Dragoon has been given too much hate for far too long, and I'm here to say I actually really like this skin. I know you're probably thinking, sitting there watching this video and going in the comments to tell me, of course you like it, it's Dragon, and you love dragons, that's so biased. While yes, it is very on brand for me and my love of dragons, I genuinely think everything about this skin is cool. Well, almost everything. I will agree with the majority of Mercy stands out there and say that the headpiece looks a bit forced. The face it makes up looks kind of stretched here. Other than that though, this skin is actually pretty neat. Her armor here being made up of like actual dragon scales is just an insane detail. And I love that they made the armor the same color of green here to match the scales. I like this stone dragon on the chest plate, but another thing I will say I don't like that much is this bright yellow streak going down the center. However, I do see that it could resemble a dragon's underbelly, which is always a different color, so I get that it has an actual purpose. The green wings here are also another nice touch, and it's even nicer in-game because when you ult, the beams from the wings also turn green. My favorite part of this skin has to be the staff, with the dragon scales that go all the way up to this giant, like, egg here at the top, and this glowing green effect that goes down the actual staff. It's just insane. Easily one of my favorite Mercy staffs in the entire game. As time has gone on, though, I think Dragoon has become less hated. After so many years, I'm just here to say I never hated it, and it's one of my all-time favorites.
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
You know, for once, I'm kind of glad that I don't make money off of YouTube, because I'm sure this skin would get this video demonetized instantly. 6th place goes to one of Mercy's Overwatch 2 shop exclusive skins, Lifeguard. Now, for those out of the loop, a certain group of people in the Overwatch community, who shall go nameless, were really invested in convincing the Blizzard design team to make a Beach Mercy skin. Then it kinda turned into a Lifeguard Mercy idea after Cassidy got his own sexy Lifeguard skin. And then Farah got a sexy Lifeguard skin. And this summer, Mercy got one. I'm just joking here, and I don't actually care that much, but at the end of the day, Lifeguard kept the Overwatch artists' bank accounts fuller than ever, and that's so good for the Overwatch economy. This skin's honestly just a lot of fun, and was such a long-time fan request for obvious and PG reasons, of course. It does what the Summer Games skins set out to do, and has kept to the code of rules we Overwatch gamers have taken a solemn vow to. If you don't know about the unspoken rules of Overwatch, just look up Mercy Rule 34, it'll make sense. Don't actually do that. please. I wonder if one day we'll get enough of these lifeguard skins to make a full team comp. I mean, we're only missing a tank and one more support, so you know what this means, right? Blizzard. Where is Lifeguard Roadhog?
Another day, another victory for the OG, taking down the sweats.
If I'm correct in assuming I would get assassinated for where I put which Mercy on this list, now I'm definitely gonna get crucified for this one. I think Pink Mercy is also overhyped. Taking 5th place and kicking off our top 5 is the most renowned and exclusive Mercy skin, possibly the most exclusive skin in all of Overwatch, Pink Mercy. As most of you watching this are probably already aware, this skin is more than likely never coming back, but it felt wrong not to include it because I'm sure if I didn't, someone in the comments would yell at me for it. Pink Mercy was a limited time skin released for only a few weeks on Overwatch 1, with all the proceeds made from purchasing it going to breast cancer research. After the event ended, many players who didn't manage to get their hands on it were really vocal about their hopes that someday it would come back. And it's been like 6 years. Pink Mercy is to the Overwatch community what the Black Knight or fully unlocked Omega skins are to Fortnite. It's a big freaking deal. So why do I not think it's the best Mercy skin? Clearly plenty of people on the internet seem to think so, and taking a look at it, it is definitely a fantastic skin. I like the longer hair with the pink ribbons that symbolizes the goal for breast cancer research and awareness. It's such a well-hidden yet rewarding detail there. The wings turning pink when she ults is by far one of the highest selling points for this skin. The actual design overall is just very fun and hammers home the name Pink. It's all in good fun and for a good cause, but if I can be real for a moment, I think most people only really like this skin because of FOMO. This skin was only out for less than a month out of Overwatch's entire history, and it's very clear that it will never come back. Much like skins in any other battle pass, like Overwatch or like Fortnite or like Apex, exclusivity can be both a blessing and a curse. When I was researching for this skin, everywhere I looked were people complaining, begging, and wishing for this skin to return. Yet I hardly saw anyone say anything about their thoughts on the skin itself or the cause it was supporting. I ended up making some conclusions that, first of all, the skin probably won't come back, not because of Blizzard, but because of the Breast Cancer Research Foundation, who are speculated to own the rights to the skin itself. After all the crazy, insane allegations about certain Blizzard employees came out, if I were a foundation mostly made up of women, I probably wouldn't want to collab with Blizzard either. The second big conclusion I came to was that most people that were screaming, crying, and throwing up for the skin to return don't really want the skin, they just really want the exclusivity. People have kind of lost sight of the purpose for this skin, and more so want to obtain it simply because it's rare. The fact that Pink Mercy is so rare and locked away from so many players has overhyped its value in my eyes, and while it's certainly a great skin, I personally think there are better Mercy skins that are not only easier for the average player to still get their hands on, but also just better. I personally hope they never bring this skin back, because if Blizzard did, it certainly would feel like they would be capitalizing off the 90% of people buying it for its exclusivity, and less because they care about breast cancer awareness.
The hands of death could not defeat me. The sisters of fate could not hold me. And you will not see the end of this day. I will have my revenge!
The Percy Jackson kid hiding deep within my soul is just ecstatic right now. Taking 4th place on my ranking is Mercy's Overwatch 1 Summer Games event skin, Winged Victory. This one was also re-released during the first Summer Games event here on Overwatch 2, as a free reward for completing enough of the limited time challenges. I'm sure many of you out there probably have this one for that exact reason. This is by far one of Mercy's more popular skins, mostly because it was given out for free a few months back, but not without a good reason, because it's amazing. I love that they went all out with the Greek design elements all over the skin. Her hairstyle here is just very cool. I like that part of it goes over her eye, but part of it also comes up over her head. This wreath over her head is also nice as well, with this golden helmet covering up the side. The dress itself is also very Greek-inspired, with it cutting off right above her thighs, and then also with the rest of the dress coming down here past her legs as a classic Mercy design. The gold pattern on it is also just really unique. She also has on winged boots, which is just very cool and a nice callback to Greek mythology. And speaking of the wings, the actual ones that she wears on her back are made up of straight up feathers, which makes it feel more real and authentic. I am once again here to say that the staff is my favorite part of this skin, and they always manage to make the staffs look pretty decent, but this one in particular caught my eye because it's just an Olympic torch, which is such a cool idea. Winged Victory is definitely one of Mercy's best, not only for how close it sticks to its inspiration, but also for how it makes the inspiration look fantastic. This skin was given out for free not too long ago, so many people have it, and I see many people use it, and I don't think it's necessarily because it was a free legendary. I think it's just because the skin rocks.
Fuck you! I hope your whole family has a nice Christmas!
I bet most of you watching this video probably haven't even heard of this one. Third place on my ranking is Mercy's Overwatch 1 Winter Wonderland skin, Sugar Plum Fairy. I think this skin is so heavily underrated, and I kinda hate that I never hear anyone talk about it. The thing I enjoy the most about this skin is definitely its color scheme and the way it's implemented. This purple that fades into this pink and various shades of it, with these green highlights all over it, and the subtle whitish, purplish hue, it's just so well pulled off. I love what they did with her hair and this really intricate crown, and I like that they gave her most unique hair color yet for this ethereal fairy skin. Another neat little thing about her head here, I just like the elf ears that stick straight out. It's just kind of funny. Back to more cool stuff, I think the wings here are just so amazing. The way that they managed to make them look more insect-like by adding the green here with the thin pink veins and then throwing on some like glitter to make it look more like a fairy is just so cool. I really enjoy these ribbons that flow off her ballet shoes, which is very on brand for the Sugar Plum Fairy story, but the ribbons themselves also have some jiggle physics, which is nice. The staff here being an actual wooden stick is just such a good idea. The vine on the end here makes it look like more than just a regular stick, and there's also some like carvings made into it that go up and down it that are just nice details. The flower on the end here that blossoms when you use the beam is such a neat touch, and there's also even this little glowy symbol towards the top that changes colors based on whether you're using the like heal mode or the damage boost mode. The orb on top is so damn cool, and I don't know if it changes colors when you use the beam, but it would be cool if it did. This skin, in my opinion, is the prettiest of Mercy's skins, and I know that that's a really heavy factor onto whether people like it or don't like certain Mercy outfits, so take my word for it here. This skin is phenomenal, and we gotta talk about it more.
All my fellas! All my fellas! All my fellas!
If you've been in the Overwatch community for a few years, believe me, I was just as surprised as you when I saw this skin in the leaks for Season 8. Coming in at second place is the highly anticipated shop-exclusive skin for Overwatch 2, Jingle Bell. I know this skin isn't even out yet as of me recording, it might be out by the time this video goes up, but when I saw it in the hero gallery, I already knew it was something special. It's based off of a fan-made design that's been circling around the internet for a few years, and I'll throw up a picture here so you guys can see it. I have to say though, the Blizzard design team executed it quite flawlessly. The intricate design and pattern on this white sweater here is so cool and manages to make it look so fluffy, and I love the way that it transitions into this dress here. The antler headdress is so cute and very fitting for the holiday season. The wings are just so freaking awesome, with these light cream puffs on top with some cherries that make it look like candy. And then the way it transitions into these like golden chocolate looking feathers here, it's just so neat. I absolutely love what they did with her hair here. The way it is like shaped into this like curled up bob, but then it also has these braids that go around the back here. It's just so neat. I know I said that already, but it's just so neat. Overall, I really enjoy this color scheme and what they did here. It just is so immaculate. Choosing to go with these subtly festive colors, like the more marshmallows and cocoa feel with the white and brown, and this like very kind of like thin faded gold, rather than just going with the typical bright red and bright green for most Christmas outfits. I will say though that the weapons are honestly my favorite part on this skin. The gun just has so many little things that I keep finding to look at. There's this glowy blue button on the back here, this red nose on the end with some snow over top of it. I like that the barrel of the gun is this like chipped and faded wood, and then it transitions into this accentuated leather on like the handle. But this staff gets even crazier. There's this snow globe on the end with a falling snow effect inside and this little snowman placed in there too. That's just so awesome. The glowing star on the end here is also another really nice touch and makes it look even more festive. This skin isn't even out yet, and I can already tell it's going to become a staple among Mercy mains across the world. I know what I'm getting for my Christmas shopping, that's for sure. Finally, we've made it to the top of my ranking. I had to trudge through the trenches to make my way to the top of this hill, and after so many trials, tribulations, and somewhat heated debates with myself, I made my choice. The number one Mercy skin, in my humble opinion, is the Overwatch League exclusive 2019 Atlantic All-Stars. This is just such a cool Mercy skin, and I really hate that I don't have it. I love the use of these darker colors, as that's personally more of my style. I'm a big fan of the purple, blue, and black scheme to resemble the knight. This was because it was made to be a sort of opposite to the Pacific All-Star skin that was given to Lucio that same year, which was a way brighter skin that was all about the light and the sun. This one's clearly more about the darkness and the moon, and it absolutely rocks. It's another of the prettiest Mercy skins to me, making an antithesis to light so beautiful and so bright too. I love that the wings turn this dark blue when you ult, and I love her long purple hair with this black crown. The glowing moon symbol on that crown is amazing and just really makes it shine. The staff is another of my favorites, and I like the way it splits into this spear-like thing when you use the beam. The gun is also very pretty, and the glowing moon symbol returns on the side of it, which makes it stand out more than some of Mercy's other weapons. There's nothing I really hate about this skin, but I will admit it is hard to make an informed opinion, since I can only really see things through pics and videos. I do own most of the skins on this ranking too, so that's another thing that really informed my decision here. Out of all the ones I don't own personally, it was not only one of my favorites, but it was also the one I wished I had most. And that's why I think it deserves my number one pick for Mercy's legendary skins. Before I end this video, I just want to give you a personal shout out for watching through this entire thing. One more thing I want to say really quickly. That big announcement I was teasing at the start of this video, normally we would just do one damage hero and then move on to the next. However, there are a lot of damage heroes, so to try and compensate for that, the next two rankings in this series will both be for a damage hero. So, the top two suggestions in the comments of this video will both get a ranking video. Make sure to comment below to secure your favorite damage heroes ranking, and you can go and check out what heroes we've already ranked using the playlist on my channel page. If you liked the video, hit the like button for me, and be sure to check out some of my other content on this channel. And if you really enjoyed what you saw, do me a huge favor and hit subscribe so you don't miss any future content. I'm trying to reach our sub goal of 100 subs before this year ends, but it's looking like we won't make it this year, unfortunately. However, we are still really close to 50 subs, which would still be an insane milestone, so please hit subscribe if you haven't already. That's all from me though. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.